Okay, guys, you're on part 5 of this project, so I just want to explain to you a couple more things. So remember that this project has 5 parts. You need to finish each part, and then this last part is to edit this into a final draft. So basically what I'm making part 5 is that I want, and I should put week 5 here because it's an accident, but I'll have to change it in my other document. So for now, just pretend like it says week 5. Okay, so in week 5 of your project, you need to edit this and make sure that it looks good. So if you recall, each part of this is going to be worth 10 points. So you need to have 10 organisms, that's worth 10 points. You need to identify them correctly, that's worth 10 points. Then you're going to have to do your slides for each one. So I'm going to check your slide and make sure that's correct for each one. And then I'm going to go ahead and make sure that your food web looks good to me. And then this last part is also worth 10 points. So if you just turn this in and it's messy and it looks like a rough draft and there's a bunch of misspellings, then you're not going to get a high grade. I'm going to take off up to 10 points, which is a whole fifth of your grade. So you really want to make sure that you do this. I have some tips to double check because these are formatting things that I know are going to come up. So like I said earlier, when you were designing these slides, if you just copy and paste the slide a bunch of times, then that's going to make sure that you have the same formatting throughout. Something that you really need to make sure you do, because I am going to take off points for it, it's really important, is that you put the scientific name in italics. So that's this button right here, italic. And then you also make sure that the genus is capitalized right here, but the species name is lowercase. And there's a bunch of examples in the direction document. Remember that the role of the nutrient cycle should not say herbivore. It should say secondary consumer or primary consumer. And then you can also put what they eat. Like, that's fine too, but you definitely need to make sure that you have their role in the nutrient cycle. Another thing that I would do is make sure that if you've copied and pasted any information into here, that you do not do that, because the only thing you can copy and paste without really plagiarizing is the scientific name. So make sure that you're not copying and pasting your fun fact or anything. A lot of times it's easy to tell if something's been copied or pasted because it'll be in a different size or a different font. So make sure that those match. Make sure that you have a picture of your organism. I'm not going to make sure that your picture is like photography class good, right? I just want to make sure that you are out observing nature. So just make sure that you don't copy any pictures from the internet to put on your slides. If you do use pictures from the internet for your food web, I did that. So that's totally cool. And because we don't have a lot of time, we're not going to be citing these pictures either. That's a huge part of real life, is citing information. But when we're doing online school, I'm only supposed to give you 3 to 4 hours of work per week. And so I don't have time to have you cite and teach you how to do it, which I hate because for a lot of reasons, it's just not good practice, but it's just kind of the truth, the way it is. Okay, make sure that you have spelled everything correctly. So, if you haven't, there's a little red line under it. A lot of times I think students just, I don't know, I think you kind of sometimes write your papers how you text each other, and you can't do that because that's not academic English. So that's fine for communicating with your friends on the phone, but it's not an academic endeavor for your brain, and so you need to try to write in grammatically correct ways. So if you don't know how to spell something, look it up. If you're unsure why it's marked, I mean, sometimes it'll underline a species name, and the species name is actually correct, but it's underlined it because it doesn't think it's a word. So be careful and watch that. Make sure that all of your things are centered on your page. So like if this is, if you want it to be on the center in the middle of every page, then put it in the center. In the example, it's not, it's over here. And that's fine too, just as long as you keep it consistent through all of your slides. Why am I going to be such a stickler for formatting and grammar? Because you need to get good at that when you need to be good at it. So if you're texting your friends, it's not necessary for you to type specific spelled words, right? Like that's okay. As long as you guys understand each other, that's the purpose of the tool. But when you guys are going for a job, you're trying to get your resume done, you're filling out a job application, you really need to be in the habit of writing with grammatically correct academic language too. So it's a skill that you also need, and that's why I'm putting it as a grade on here. Make sure that you add your food web slide because you do need that. And if you don't want to do it on the computer, then of course you can write it out. Just try to be neat and tidy, take a picture of that, and then paste it into your last slide. So you guys, this should help you get a really good grade on the project if you follow all of the points and all of these little direction sets that I've given you. And hopefully you are now studying for the final exam. Okay, I'll talk to you later, guys. Bye.